10.5 recursion, we're going to look at the arithmetic sequence. And in the arithmetic sequence, it says you need to know the previous term, which is what this denotes, the whole previous term, the previous answer. Add that to your common difference, and that will give you the next number in the sequence. So let's take a look at an example. Here's an example. They're asking us to find the first 5 terms of the sequence. So they give us a sub 1 as a clue to start, because you have to know a term to the previous term to go to the next term. So if I want to find a sub 2, I have to know what a sub 1 is. So what I do is I say, okay, I have a sub n plus 1 is equal to -3 times a sub n plus 6. So I'm going to substitute my clue. I'm using the previous term, which is a sub 1, in place of my a sub n's. And I'm going to replace my 8 in there. Oh, my bad. That's not it. Which then this is going to allow me to find a sub 2, which is the second term. And then I'm going to take -3 times that by a sub 1, which I know is 8. And when I do this math, -24 plus 6 is going to give me -18. So that's going to be my second term. So I have my first term, my second term. Now to find the third term, you're going to go ahead and, so -18, I need to write that down somewhere. So -18 is my second term. The third term is what we're finding next. So I have to go back and use a sub 2, because now that's my previous term that I just found. So -3, a sub 2 plus 6. So a sub 2 plus 1 is going to give me a sub 3. And then -3 times a sub 2, which is -18, plus 6. And then when I do that math, that's going to end up being 60. So I go back and I want to find a sub 4. So to find a sub 4, I take my formula and I substitute a sub 4 in it. Now I know, my bad, I'm trying to find a sub 4. So I'm going to substitute the previous numbers, which is a sub 3. So I'm going to take my math here. A sub 3 plus 1 is a sub 4. So that's the fourth term, which is what I'm trying to find, is going to be -3 times a sub 3, which is 60, plus 6. And when I do that math, that's -174 is my fourth term. And let me try and keep it in the same color. So a sub 4 is equal to -174. And then a sub 5, I'm going to get by replacing a sub 4, which is the previous term, into my problem. So a sub 4 plus 1 is going to give me a sub 5, which is what I'm trying to find. -3 times a sub 4, which is -174 plus 6. When I do that math, that's going to give me 528 as my fifth term. So those are my first 5 terms, from a sub 1 to a sub 2, a sub 3, a sub 4, a sub 5. So using the previous number in my pattern to find the next number. Last example, same thing, find the first 5. So I'm going to go ahead and let me make a list here. A sub 1, we already know is 4. A sub 2, let's see, A sub 2, oh, it's 5, good. A sub 3, we don't know, so let's take a look here. All right, so we have to use this formula here, and we have a sub n plus 2 equals 4 times a sub n minus 2 times a sub n plus 1. So let's take a look at substituting a sub 1 in there, because we're looking for a third one. So a sub 1 plus 2 will give me the a sub 3 that I'm looking for. 4 times a sub 1, which a sub 1 is 4, minus 2 times a sub n plus 1, which is a sub 1 plus 1. Well, a sub 1 plus 1 is a sub 2, which is 5. Now I do the math. When I times this, I get 16 minus 10, so a sub 3 ends up being 6. And then when I go to do my next term, oh, shouldn't have done all that. When I go to do the next term, I'm looking for a sub 4. So to find a sub 4, well, I already have a 2, so a sub 2 plus 2 will give me the a sub 4 that I want. I substituted a sub 2 in for a sub n, so a sub 2 minus 2 times a sub 2 plus 1. So let's substitute here. A sub 2 is 5 times negative 2, or minus 2. A sub 3, well, a sub 3 we just found is 6. So when I do 20 minus 12, that's going to go ahead and give me my 8. Now I'm going to need to find a sub 5. To find a sub 5, let me go ahead and just take some of this stuff out, leave the main parts. To find a sub 5, well, I need to plug in a sub 3 here, because a sub 3 plus 2 is going to give me the a sub 5 that I want. Since I used a sub 3 in to substitute for a sub n, I used that a sub 3 and then a sub 3 plus 1. A sub 3 we found on my list here is 6. And then a sub 3 plus 1 is a sub 4. Well, a sub 4 is 8. When I do 24 take away 18, I end up with 8. So there's my list. Here are my first 5 terms.